Hello and welcome to the Big Match Theory. I'm Mangesh, and along with me, as always, we have Rohit and Abhishek. Before we move on to Game Week 5, if you like what we do follow us on Spotify and YouTube. If you like us, if you like our podcast, consider dropping us a review on Spotify. And you can always follow us on Instagram at tbmt.pod. Let me repeat, tbmt.pod. Uh, we had three big games in game week 5. We had United Chelsea, the Merseyside derby. But I want to start with the final game between Arsenal and Man City on Sunday, and which was very important for both teams. And I know it's been only been 5 weeks, but for me, it seems like a missed opportunity for Arsenal. And I thought City were there for the taking. And I'm checking a few stats here. City were so deep in that game, they only had 33% possession. And this is the lowest amount of possession the Pep side has in the Premier League. And you probably can make the same argument about the Liverpool game that Liverpool were there for the taking. Yes, Liverpool are leaking goals right now. But as we are talking about Arsenal and Arteta, I'll hand it over to Rohit first because I know he's always ready to lead into Arsenal and Arsenal fans. So Rohit, take it away.
It's actually I don't even need to lay into anyone. I just have. If there's one thing that I know in life is that my analysis of Arsenal is rarely wrong. I've been saying for the past so many months, at the risk of repeating myself, that they're always the bridesmaid and they'll never be the bride. And I think the games against Liverpool and especially the game against City shows why they'll always be the bridesmaid and never the bride, right? We heard so many comments on social media talking about the fact that they were not brave. You make a signing like Eberechi Eze, and you have Bukayo Saka, who, even though he's coming back from injury, we understand it's a big game, and several managers would have taken that risk. He takes neither of those risks. He starts, sure, Madueke on one wing, which was okay. He starts with Trossard, which again I did not understand.
Yeah,
I know he's had a decent run in the past couple of games, but is he a game changer like Eze would have been? And as we saw with the through ball that Eze played to Martinelli,
yeah,
no. You look at that midfield once again with Zubimendi, with Rice, and I mean, it was basically Mikel Arteta saying that I would rather not lose at home against Man City, who aren't even flying. And it's an attitude like that that is quite, emblematic of why Arsenal aren't champions, also why Arsenal won't be champions. And before I hand it over to you guys, one little snippet. Abhishek was, he asked me if I'm going to regret my opinion on Gyökeres, my hot take on Gyökeres being a flop. Did he touch the ball in the game against City? I don't quite recall, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to turn out right on that as well.
Abhishek, what do you think about this game? And I know it's just been 5 weeks, and you are always humble about Arsenal and other team, rival teams. But do you think Liverpool has an open run now?
No, of course not. It's only 5 games in. Come on. I mean, for anyone to talk about, we'd all be behaving like Arsenal fans if we started talking about the title 5 games in, this early, first of all. So, no. And I forgot who our next game is, but I think we have a difficult next away game, and then we go to Chelsea away as well. So, we have a couple of, difficult fixtures coming up now. So, that being said, uh, the result was perfect for us. Arsenal City, from that point of view, okay, both teams dropped a couple of points. It's a good result. I think I think you guys are right in the sense that Arsenal were not brave at all. It didn't seem like they were playing at home. It seemed like they were playing away. They were being too defensive for some reason, and they dominated City in that second half, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I thought they played well. One of the things I read is that yeah, City played the Champions League on Thursday, right? So they only had 2 days of rest, and Arsenal played on Tuesday, so they had like 4 days of rest. So it could be one of the reasons why Guardiola went so defensive in one way. Uh, but but again, I thought in the first half they were fine. City. did well, but in the second half, Arsenal completely dominated. And when they scored that goal, again, I don't. I've seen Liverpool score a lot of these late goals, and especially equalizers and things like that. And there's always a sense of, okay, go get the ball, start the play again, which was not there with Arsenal. Like, they scored in the 92nd minute. There were 7 minutes at a time. There's 5 more minutes to go. So there's always a chance for you to score another goal. They just didn't do that, and I don't get it why they didn't do that. They're at home and they're completely dominating the game. So in that sense, I think I'm sure Arsenal fans are disappointed, right? Because uh, I think most of them agreed. Now you saw today the Ballon d'Or, right? The awards ceremony. The best striker of 2025 was Victor Gyökeres. He got the award for the best striker of 2025. So that itself adds on to the pressure on Arsenal. There is absolutely no excuses anymore. They have the best midfielder, Declan Rice. They have the best winger in Saka. They have the best defense, and now they have the best striker.
They also have the best manager.
They absolutely have no excuses anymore now.
See, I slightly disagree with Abhishek's points that point that the first weeks don't matter anymore, but they do matter. And I keep making this point again and again. United's two greatest seasons, 99 treble and 2007-8 double. In both seasons, United started very slow. In 7-8, United only had 2 points from first three games. And in the end, we won the league and the Champions League. That will not happen this time. You need to start really strongly right now, especially when both Liverpool and Arsenal were there for taking. Liverpool and the City were there for taking. I mean, we have not seen Pep being so defensive in 2 games in a row. I can understand why he did what he did against United, but I did not understand why he was so defensive with just 33% of possession. Because I don't I mean, of course Arsenal is a good team, but they are not Real Madrid of Jose Mourinho. But I'm not sure why he did what he did. So Arsenal had a really good chance in that game, and they missed it. Just 1 point in two big games. I don't think is enough anymore. And in we are just 5 weeks in, and Liverpool have lead of 5 points. What if Liverpool signs someone in January transfer window, a defender? What happens then? Uh, no other team has any point in that case. So I don't understand this. And since I mentioned Jose Mourinho, it takes me back to 2017-18 season, and when both Man United and City started really well. And if you recall it, it was City's 100-point season. In that in that season, there was earlier a game between United and Chelsea at Anfield, and Mourinho was pretty defensive at the time. And I thought, especially Rohit's favorite football writer, Miguel Delaney, was just criticizing Mourinho left, right, and center for being so defensive at the time. And at the time, it felt why everyone is being so critical of Mourinho. A few weeks after that, in January, I'm sure Abhishek will recall this. There was this fantastic game between Liverpool and Man City at Anfield, that 4-3 game, when both teams were going for it. And these are the signs. And now I realize it now that Mourinho was defensive right from the start, which he did not do in his early years. He used to go for it at Old Trafford, be it at Emirates or at Anfield. He used to go for it, and that used to be the case when he was in Inter. That used to be the case when he was in Real Madrid. He did not do that at Anfield, and that completely reflected in what followed. We lost that season. We were second in that season, but I think we had 82 points. We were 18 points behind City. So all these things matter. I have no idea, and as rightly pointed out, I have no idea why Trossard started. I have no idea of that. So Arteta's defensive just 1 point of out of these 2 games. I don't think that is good enough. And if Arsenal are serious about their title contention, they really need to step up, and more importantly, their manager needs to step up because they, as Abhishek always points out, that they really have a good squad now.
No, and I have no problems in a team being pragmatic. I get it, right? Sometimes you have to just rein it in and just sort of soak up the pressure against a team that's good on the ball and nick a win here and there. But would you really go with that approach in the fifth game of the season at home against a Man City that hasn't particularly started? See, I mean, if I'll tell you what, I mean, I know you tried to compare their approach at Liverpool and when they went to Anfield and when they hosted City. If they had actually taken this approach at say at say an Anfield, and eventually sure they lost via a dead ball, they were lost by a free kick. That's still okay. You still wouldn't shoot yourself in the head because you did what you had to do. Great free kick happens, you move on. But why would you do that at home against a Man City side that, as you guys pointed out, have played, you've got an extra 48 hours of rest. Their main striker has played almost 90 minutes in three successive games over a span of 7 days. Why would you then not go for it? I can, I'm okay with a manager being pragmatic. That's not the problem. But when do you be pragmatic? I think that is where my point of critique lies.
I mean, you're right. I kind of agree with you in the sense that I don't understand why, because Man City was definitely there for the taking. And these are the sort of games that kind of, you know, if you dominate, they kind of set you on that. You get into that zone, you get into that mentality. If you dominate a Man City at home, right, then there is an insane boost of confidence that the
Yeah.
squad needs, and that they could have had, which I don't know. It feels like a chance that they missed. I yeah, they could have. Yeah, I mean, going by how the game went exactly, I don't have a problem with Madueke. I thought he played well, and then Saka
Yeah.
came in and he also did well. But still, I mean, there was still the game was there for the taking, and it just didn't happen for us.
No. So I was watching, I think, Sky Sports. Either Roykin or Jamie Carragher, one of them raised this point. What happens when a manager plays with that kind of tactics, a bit conservative in such high profile game? And are there any players in Arsenal who can challenge Arteta on this? So people like Rio Ferdinand and Vidic, they used to, or even Wayne Rooney at times, they used to challenge Alex Ferguson in certain games about certain tactics if they did not agree with that. I mean, does this Arsenal team have any players who will challenge Arteta? Arteta is not uh, the most the menacing figure in football, right? Alex Ferguson was. So if you had leaders in that team, maybe they could challenge Arteta. I'm not sure if anyone from that Arsenal team will do that.
No, what I was going to say is that, yeah, I think that's a fair point. Like, do they really have somebody who can stand up for Arteta?
Yeah.
And another point from the point of view of the squad, if I am an Eberechi, what does that say about me? I mean, am I not trusted enough to start for Arsenal against Man City at home? Is there anything that Trossard has done that for which I don't, maybe that I haven't done because of which I'm not starting ahead of him? I mean, I can understand Saka's coming back from an injury and Madueke isn't half bad, fine. And Trossard, I mean, sure, Trossard had a couple of goals, he had an assist here and there, but you've spent all this money on Eze for what? What have you spent all that money on? You want him to start. He wears a number 10 for Arsenal. He should be starting all of the big games for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And coming back to my favorite centre forward in the world, Gyökeres. I mean, when you're playing a towering centre half, right? I mean, Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon, sure, playing. He was playing in that Amorim 3-4-2-1 formation, and he was getting fed with the wing backs and all of that. But I don't think either Madueke or Trossard even tried to play him in. I don't think he made any decent runs in behind the defenders. I thought both Guardiol and Ruben, or was it Ruben Diaz? I forget. They were playing him so easily. So easily. They were covering the lines. They were blocking all of the channels in which he was making the runs. There was absolutely no aerial threat from Gyökeres at all. So you got in Gyökeres, he's going to be your big guy. Sure, he scored a couple of goals here and there against not so great opposition, but is there a plan for you to actually bring him in and actually play to his strength so that he can give you that output? So if I'm all of these players and I'm Arteta, it just seems a bit of a mishy mashy situation.
Fair enough. One thing I would like to say is City handled. Do you think City handled Arsenal's set pieces really well? Because I don't. Did they have too many chances from the set piece?
I
I
thought
don't think so.
Arsenal did have a few set pieces, but I thought City did well. They didn't
Yeah,
really.
exactly,
I can't
exactly.
remember that many set pieces that kind of that really created a chance from it. But so I thought City handled it well.
Yeah,
No, I'll tell you one player who was the best when it came to defending City's box. That was Haaland.
absolutely.
That guy was everywhere. That guy played against Napoli. That guy was playing every weekend, and you saw him sprinting into he was
Yeah,
sprinting into his own box, heading balls away, and still making runs into the opposition box.
yeah,
Absolutely crazy effort. I wasn't too surprised that he got hooked at the 70 something minute mark because that guy had
yeah,
absolutely run his socks off.
Yeah, Haaland and Donnarumma. I thought Donnarumma, except for that goal, of course, but I thought he did really well. Like he's such a
yeah,
big, imposing figure, and he's one of those
Yeah.
keepers who does not shy away from coming for the ball. From corners, from set pieces, and he did that a lot of time. Did that a lot against Arsenal as well. I mean, of course, he's not the Pep type of footballer, but he is. Yeah, he's easily the top three keeper in the world right now.
Sorry, it's a bit of a digression, but I'll tell you what, Donnarumma right now just reminds me of Edwin van der Sar in those 3 years at United when we won the title. Because if you remember, Van der Sar, he wasn't really playing any cute passes in and around the box. But if there was two things that he was great at was shot stopping and a presence in the box. And those are quite literally the two things that Donnarumma is doing really, really well right now. He's a big presence in the box. You could see him swatting crosses and corners away with ridiculous ease. And we've seen this season that he's been excellent with his shot stopping abilities. So I look at Donnarumma and I think even though he's not a Pep goalkeeper, I think he's actually going to do really, really well for Pep.
Hmm. So, on the depressing note of Miguel Delaney being right about Mourinho, and he might be right about Pep again, let's talk about United and Chelsea. Rohit, you had a few pointers about this game.
I mean, if I'm talking about the game, let me first start off with just how I thought. I mean, it was again one of those games which, it's almost like another in the next episode of the Man United daily soap opera. It just seemed like another episode in our soap opera. But in the first 10 minutes, I thought we played well. I thought we 4 out of the 5 games so far, we've started really well off the blocks. I think apart from City, where I mean, I'm not even talking Grimsby, but in the City game, we just didn't turn up. We did not turn up from minute 1 to minute 90. So that was just a shameful performance. But apart from that, we started well. We were swarming all over Chelsea in the first 10 minutes. We obviously got a bit of the rub of the green when it came to the red card, and we scored our 2 goals. And then Casemiro with a head loss, which, by the way, I think this was Casemiro's, if I'm not wrong, third or fourth red card. Third, right? Third red
Yeah,
card for United. And we know how many red cards he had for his trophy laden Real Madrid career. Zero.
two.
He was never sent off for Real Madrid.
Is that so? I
I
thought
think
he had
so.
two red cards. He had two
As
red
far as
cards
I
as
know,
well.
he was never sent off for Real Madrid. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let
Maybe it
me
was
check
just
that.
in the league. But
Yeah. That could have been in the league. Yeah.
so yeah, major head loss by Casemiro. But I'll tell you one. If I'm talking about things to take out of this game, I thought in the second half United managed the game really well. I know that people are going to say that this was probably the first game, or rather, apart from the City game, where United did not really dominate the ball, like didn't keep the ball, didn't really recycle the ball well, and all of that. But I don't remember Chelsea working behind there at all. Apart from the goal, which again was just bad marking, and sure, that happens. I think there was a great leap by the Chelsea player. But in a shocking turn of events, United were actually managing a game in the second half. They were all right with Chelsea having the ball. I thought Delit was incredible, as he has been all of this season. He was
Yeah.
imperious at the back. And that three-man defense actually for the first time worked. for United because they were comfort. And as is the case with Ruben Amorim, even when a player gets sent off, he's not going to let go of his 3/5 man defense, which was incredible. I thought at least that will be the time when he does away with it, but nope. He decided to play a 5-3-1 formation, which, in a weird sort of way, I have now got a lot of respect for Amorim. He will rather go down, he'll get fired, he'll get thrown off the board, but he's not going to let go of his formation. So I think, yes, so I think we managed the game well. I think we were bang on buck. We deserved the win. I don't think Chelsea deserved to get anything out of the game at all. And sorry, before I throw it over to you, Abhishek and Mange, just a couple of statistics. So, we've been talking about the formation being a problem, and I think I touched upon it sometime last week that it's not the formation in itself that is the problem, it is the personnel that Amorim is putting in those positions that is turning out to be a problem. So today, this week, sure, that Casemiro Bruno midfield work, but it's also down to the fact that they were up against an Enzo and a Caicedo who they sort of felt comfortable dealing with. But over the period of these 5 games, United now have the highest XG over the first 5 games. United have 4.5 shots on target per match compared to 4.8 for Liverpool, who are the highest. United, I think, are fifth or something. United are sixth in big chances created. United are fourth in touches in the opposition box. Now, we can all scoff and all of this and say, oh, but this doesn't mean anything if you're nowhere in the table and you've sort of lost what two out of the first 5 games and all of that. But if I were to even look at the league table right now, United are sure, I think 11th in the league, 3 points off the mighty Arsenal, level on points with City, and just a point off Chelsea, having played Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City in our first 5 games. Now, all of these statistics, if you look at them all together, sure, I mean, you can negate and you can, brush off any piece of statistics, but these are all facts. So, my point being that it's not the formation that's a problem. It's not. It is the personnel and the same problem with United that one week they decide to turn up and the other week they don't. This has happened manager after manager, and it is still for me a personnel problem rather than a formation problem.
Just one point before I hand it over to Abhishek. When you're talking about XG, to be very honest, I'm just checking the game against stats for game against City. We had an XG of 1.52, but most of our chances came after City went 3-1, 3-0 up. So at the time, it did not really matter at that time. When
Now
you're
check the
already,
other games. Even if you negate
yeah,
take the 1.5 away from City, you're still top four or top three. United I think are on 10. Even if you take those 1.5 goals away, you're still what 8.5 in terms of XG.
yeah, but
Still not bad.
see, the main issue we have is we do not have cohesion in the midfield, and I think it's more of a mismatch rather than just players or just formations. You need right players playing in their right position, and we still do not have that. And one thing I would like to talk about is how weird Enzo Maresca was in this game. He took off Neto in the 7th minute and agreed that Cole Palmer got injured. But after Cole Palmer got injured, I had no idea why he did not bring on that little runt that used to play for Man United last season. Because Garnacho running behind Shaw, I was scared at that thought because Garnacho could have caused us a lot of trouble. I have no idea why didn't he bring him on? I have no idea. So I think it's great that we won that game, but a lot of that is down to a weirdly conservative approach by Enzo Maresca. Yeah, Abhishek, you're saying something.
No, I was not. I wasn't really. I was just enjoying the fact that what Man United has done to its fans is that the two people who have never heard talk about things like XG are now finding comfort in these statistics. Basically, that is
See,
what Man United has done to you guys now. You're
see, see,
counting
see, see.
XG, which is
Ba-
fine.
ba- Basically, Man United has turned Rohit into peak Michael Cox.
Oh god, anything but that. I think that guy is very his second name is very aptly named. I think he deserves every bit of having his second name as Cox. This is an idiot. No, but I mean, sorry, Abhishek, actually finish your point.
No, no. I didn't watch the game, so I don't really know what happened. The only thing I didn't realize, yeah, I mean, when Chelsea went down, he took off Neto and Cole Palmer, both of them, right? These are the two hardworking.
So Palmer got
Why would
injured.
you
No,
take
no,
off?
no.
Oh, Palmer got
Estevao.
injured.
Yeah, yeah, Estevao.
So Estevao, Neto, he took both of them off, and then did okay. Palmer got injured.
Yeah.
I didn't know Palmer was injured, but Pedro Neto is a very hardworking player, very hardworking player. I don't understand why he took him off at all.
Yeah,
He is a
yeah,
Premier League pro. I wouldn't say proven because he hasn't done much, but he's a very solid winger, right? So he may not be one of those flashy footballers that always catches your eye, but he's a very hardworking player. So I don't know
yeah,
why he was taken off.
yeah,
But the rest of the game, I didn't really watch anything. I just saw Casemiro's second yellow, which I thought was a little harsh. I didn't really think that was a yellow, to be honest.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I kind of got the same sense also as you guys said that Maresca didn't really handle the game very well.
No, but even talking about, I mean, I know, Mangesh, you said that the XG sort of it. Even if you take away what we saw against City, but I mean, if you're trying to discredit, that part of the game, we also have to agree to the fact that we didn't have Mateus Cunha against City. We didn't really have him against Chelsea. He just came at the end. Same with Mason Mount. And those two probably have been, I think, after Mbumo or alongside Mbumo, been our two best players over the first 5 games. And having said that, even if you take away the XG part, I think the progression that a Cunha and an Mbumo are bringing to United's game, the fact that we are playing huge chunks of the game in the opposition penalty area, which we haven't done over the past couple of years, that to me, at least as a fan, if there is something to hold on, I would definitely hold on that. Does it mean that United are back and that we're going to finish in the top four? Absolutely not. That is one thing. See, that is one thing that I don't understand. Everybody, right from the start, has said that United will probably finish seventh or eighth in the league this season, right? Anywhere between sixth or eighth. And then United fans are also consistently shocked that we are playing like a team that is going to finish sixth and eighth. I don't understand that. If you're predicting that someone is going to finish seven, means that they're going to have their own sets of ups and downs, that they're going to be
Yeah.
inconsistent. And having said that, I look at United right now, and look, there is a good chance that we're going we go away to, I think it's away to Brentford next week, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, I think so.
The
Yes.
good chance There's a good chance we lose next week.
Yeah,
Good chance. And there's a good chance again, obviously, that we lose to Liverpool. But my point is, as a team that, as Mangesh you pointed out, the ownership hasn't invested. They're okay with that gaping hole in midfield. Forget about buying anyone.
yeah,
They had that whole Baliba smoke screen, and they did not even manage to get anyone in on loan. Like, I was just thinking, right? Imagine a signing like Norgard, right? Norgard is at Arsenal. He's not cost a lot of money. You don't think United would have needed a body like that in midfield? Could have used
yeah.
a
Most
player
definitely.
of that profile? Absolutely. We let Palinia join Spurs on loan from Bayern Munich. We couldn't find a single midfielder who could possibly play that role. So I think, given the fact that at least till January we're going to see that major donut in Man United's tactics with a big hole in the center. Don't be surprised if we see these ups and we see these downs. But as I said, I have begrudging respect for Amorim for sticking to his stupid formation. If it's working, it's not working. I genuinely have begrudging respect because I don't again want to see a manager bend to not player power, but live by the sword, die by the sword. I'm good with that. If he wants to go out, he goes out playing his way. Sure, he doesn't get. I want him to maybe try a 4-3-3 in bloody, I don't know, the FA Cup or something. Sure, he probably won't. But till then, this 3-4-2-1 isn't the worst formation in the world. He just needs to find the right players to fit in that formation.
Okay, yes. That means we are going to have another torrid season unless until we sign someone in January, which
That
I
but
don't
that
think
is
that will
always
not
going to
happen.
happen. That is
Yeah, but
always that was always going to happen. We were never going to jump from 15 to third in the table. That was
yeah, I'm fine
not
with
going
that.
to happen.
I'm
That was
fine with
not
that.
going to.
I'm fine
And
with that. And
yeah,
and and see the thing is, unless until we sign someone in January, or unless until Kobe Mainu miraculously starts playing as Amorim wants him to play in that two-man midfield, We are not going. We are going to struggle more than we think.
We are going to. I'll tell you what. I still stand. I said I thought start of the year. I said we'll finish fifth. That was obviously me being optimistic. A realistic me would have said sixth or seventh. I still think we'll finish fifth or sixth. I still think so. I think we have enough to grind out results. If you remember, it took. I know Abhishek says that he knew Jurgen Klopp was going to be the guy from the moment he
Yeah,
signed, but
yeah,
he wasn't the guy from the moment he signed. He didn't start producing results from the moment he signed. He didn't finish in the top three in his first season. He didn't win the league in his first what 4 seasons,
Are you
if I
talking about
remember
Klopp?
correctly. Yeah, I'm talking about Klopp. He didn't win the league
You
in
do
his
know,
first
you
4 seasons.
do realize he took a Brendan Rodgers side to the Europa League final, the
yeah.
Carabao
Exactly.
final. His
Exactly,
next
right?
aim was to finish in the Champions League, which he did in the next season, and then you
But
know,
that's
so
but that's not even my point. But that's not even my point. What we are saying is,
so
did he go?
no. All I'm saying is he did. Of course,
Yeah,
he
But he
started
didn't
producing results right
immediately.
away.
No, no, no. But my point is, it's not, Ruben. Look, you're forgetting that Amorim hasn't even been here for a year. The
Okay,
expectations are that this guy is going to come in. He's what did Jurgen Klopp? He did all of that with. You're giving me all of these statistics that have happened over a period of what 3 years. That he takes Brendan's
he took
side. He
over Brendan's side in October, halfway. Well, three fourth. Well, one third of the way into the season, maybe. And then he started producing results. I mean, for me, Klopp started producing results right away. No, no, I mean, the way we had finished our previous season under Rodgers and the way we had started that particular season, there was no hope for the team at that moment anyway. So whatever Klopp did with that team in the first 8 months in his first season itself, it was pretty big. It was pretty huge
yeah.
in the sense I think he did definitely overachieve with that squad at that time.
But again, see that is exactly my point, right? You set certain benchmarks for your manager, A, based on the squad that you already have, B, your idea of what you think he can do, and then you sort of, you grade him based on what he's doing every year. Amorim
Yeah.
last season, he's bottom of the barrel, right? He's at 15th or whatever it is. If United finish 10th in the table, no one's gonna sit here and say that we need to give him 12 more months. Of course not. But my point is, if he finishes sixth in the table, if he's maybe able to make a decent run in the FA Cup, sixth or seventh in the table, I still think that is progress. I still think that is still saying, considering the amount of issues that United have had. If you look at the amount of players that have been culled out, and if you still look, I mean, I said it last week, I still don't think Maguire and Shaw, who have, I think Shaw's started practically every game for United, he shouldn't be in the squad. Harry Maguire shouldn't be in the squad. These are the kind of players that are still being held on to because, oh, he scored a goal against Leon and, oh, Shaw's been at the club for 10 years. These are not good enough players. So for me, the job that an Amorim or whichever manager, in terms of that cultural shift, is probably a bigger job than any job or any cultural shift that a manager has had to do in the Premier League for ages. For ages.
Okay, that just one point about that comparison with Klopp. I think the comparison, Klopp's comparison makes sense with Arteta because he is handling this and that's the reason I criticize Arteta for, because I thought Klopp did a tremendous job at Liverpool right from the first season. He took them in the Europa League final. The next season they were competitive, and in his third season, those two games against Man City in the Champions League, that was the sign that Liverpool is going to be really good team. So I don't think the comparison between Amorim and Klopp
Also,
makes
you do
much
you do
sense.
remember we did make the Europa League final last season, right? Have you just forgotten that, or
No, no, of course not. I'm saying it does not
no?
make any
I
sense
mean,
to.
that's what
No,
I'm
no.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not drawing parallels between
Huh,
Amorim and Klopp,
yeah.
but we just because he took them to the final, just because he's lost to Spurs, we are negating the fact that we did make a decent cup run last season.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. So I'm not
That's
even
what I'm
trying to
saying.
criticize.
There is certain evidence. That's what I'm saying. When we say Klopp, oh, he did this, he
Uh,
got to the league final. So did this guy. Although I'm not comparing two of them,
mm,
and
mm.
I'm nowhere suggesting that he'll even be as good as Klopp, but we can't negate that just because it's United and they lost to Spurs, so let's all laugh at United. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a decent point actually. And yeah, okay. On that depressing point about two United fans arguing about United finishing in the top half of the table, uh,
Yeah,
let's talk
that's going to
about.
happen between now and the end of the season. You know that. We'll be here. Last game is against, I think, Brighton, and we'll be like, oh, if we win, we'll might get into the Conference League. It's gonna be one of those seasons. You know that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, okay. The what's the last point about this? I think our target is to finish in the top half of the table, not even sixth and seventh. I'll be very honest about it. That
Yeah.
is the expectation right now. Sorry.
Sorry, I know. But if he finishes 10th, do you think he'll? I think he'll go. Unless he does like a seventh at the bare minimum, I think he'll. And I don't think he'll even regret it. I think he finishes 10th or something, he'll get sacked. And fair enough.
Okay, let's not turn it into Manchester United podcast. Abhishek, uh, I mean, I did not get a chance to watch Merseyside Derby, but what are your thoughts about it? How do you think Liverpool fared? And I watched highlights, and I was reading some comments on social media, and I thought Jack Grealish gave you a scare. Was that the case?
He played well in the second half, definitely. As did Everton. I mean, Everton played really well in the second half. That is what it was. The first half, I think we definitely dominated. We did, we scored two really good goals. At the moment, in my opinion, Gravenberch is on another level at the this season. He's been
His
playing
goal was so
amazing.
good, man.
Yeah.
So good.
His goal and everything he's been doing, like he scored against Newcastle, that he scored a crucial goal against Newcastle as well. Now he scored here.
Yeah.
He gave an assist to Ekitike as well. And Ekitike, by the way, is quickly becoming one of my favorite players because
Yeah.
he's one of those players who, when you see that goal, I don't know. I don't know who said, maybe Carragher or someone said that you see the time between the first and the second touch.
Mm.
It was so quick. He took the first touch and second touch. That's it. He finished it. And he's kind of becoming a really good. He's going to be a really important player this year for us, and that's a huge sign. The other player who's coming good now is Korkesh, left back.
Mm.
He has started to play very well. He started a little. Uh, he looked a little out of place in the first few games, and which is fine. I mean, that's understandable. But now he's starting to, really show that, he was, of course, he was very good at Bournemouth last year. So, uh, I mean, again, I think the two big money signings are yet to hit their stride. Yet to, show why we paid that much money for them, both Florian Wirtz and Isak. But I think with them also, like Wirtz played, I thought Wirtz in the last game played really well. Even though he didn't score, he played really well. The second half, as you said, Grealish definitely played well. Everything went through him, right? All of the attacks were going through him. He had a good second half. A couple of, I think, I remember in the second half, they were trying to take a quick free kick, and they did it once, and the referee blew the whistle. They did it a second time, and the referee blew the whistle again because it was too quick for him. And because it happened a second time, he gave him a yellow card, which
Mm.
I've never seen, that a player get a yellow card for a quick free kick. I think
No.
Grealish said that in his post-match interview as well. So, but it was not a good second half for us at all, which is why which is one of I've said it in the last all of our uh, all the time that we've not been dominating games like we did last year. We've not been winning convincingly like we did last year. This game we got by. Previous game we needed, in the Champions League also we needed a last minute winner against Atletico Madrid. What is it with that Marcos Llorente? I don't know. He always comes to Anfield and he has to score. So again, we needed a last minute winner there, and we just got by against Everton. But again, it's a good thing. It's a good sign that this is happening in the first five games, and everyone is taking notice because yeah, like we have some problems in the midfield and in the defensive department, and this is the kind of time. This is exactly the right point at which to address all of this. So I'm glad that we are having those issues right now.
Roy, did you get a chance to watch this game?
I did actually. I caught a bit of the second half. I thought, yeah, to echo what Abhishek is saying, I mean, Jack Grealish was playing like the old Jack Grealish.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think David Moyes is again not the sort of manager who's going to shackle a player. Like we've seen him do it with Rooney in the past. I mean, he always identifies that one player who gets the license to basically go out and do whatever he wants to do. It was Wayne Rooney, and then he had Marouane Fellaini at one point, who I mean, let's not even talk about it. But Fellaini was that sort of player for Everton, and I'm glad actually to see Grealish
Yeah.
perform, because I mean we've all known that he has that in him. I thought Liverpool were comfortable. I know what Abhishek is saying, that it wasn't fluent, but again, in my opinion, I think that's still fine. If when you're not fluent, if you're still able to get a win, it's better than being fluent and actually not, going out and getting a result. So I think they did create some problems. I remember right towards the end, I think I don't know what happened, but I think Moyes and some of the Everton players got a little cheesed off with the referee because I don't know, did he blow the whistle too soon, or I don't know what happened. I saw Moyes come onto the field and do something. I'm not sure because
I
I
don't
think
remember now.
Could
so.
have been
I don't know. I
Grealish's
wasn't
red,
watching.
yellow card?
I'm not sure. I frankly don't remember, but I remember Everton in the last, I think, couple of minutes. Not they didn't really put Liverpool under the cosh, but there were a few of these jump scares. Let me put it that way. Right at the end, or just like just maybe one pass here and there, and just one header one, and it could have been a different story. But I mean, yes, but not really. I mean, Liverpool were always going to win, which they did. So
And I wanted to ask Abhishek about Salah's form. I mean, I know Salah raised his standards too high last season, but how is he playing? Since all the currently attention is mainly on Ekitike and Szoboszlai, so how is Salah playing that in that team
it's
right now?
called the new contract dip.
This is not his first contract, so no, we'll see. But I think Salah is playing okay. I one of my hot takes at the start was Salah is going to have a little bit of an offs. He's not going to kind of live up to the standard that he has in the past few seasons, and it's kind of going in that way at the moment. Even though he's been contributing, the great thing about Salah is that Salah, when he started with Liverpool under Klopp, right? He was one of those front three who was always, he would link up with them and he would score a lot of goals. He was a good finisher. He would get into really good positions. Over the time, he has evolved and he has matured. He's a very mature footballer now, in the sense that even though if he is not directly running at footballers or like he used to do before, he puts in a lot of good crosses, and he creates a lot of good chances. Like if you see the goal that we scored against Bournemouth, the last minute winner that Chiesa scored, it was Salah's pass, basically, right? That led to it was a dangerous ball that he put in, which they failed to clear, and Chiesa scored from there. It was Salah's pass again this weekend for Gravenberch as well, with, from which he scored. Salah obviously scored in the first game as well. So he's in the Champions League. Did you see his goal, by the way, in the Champions League? I thought it was amazing. It was like the Salah of old. Like he held off three players and it was a really nice finish. So he's doing all of these things. He's not that same old Mo Salah who used to run at players all the time. It's the red arrows we used to call them. Salah, Firmino, and Mane, who would take the ball in your own half, and those three could just run right from one half to the other half with the ball, link up. He's maybe not that at the moment, but he's a very mature footballer, in the sense as he's kind of getting a little older, where he's starting to take more of the responsibility of creating a little bit more, putting in those dangerous passes and all of that. So I think it's good that he's doing that. I think he should continue doing that. He did that a lot last year, but we had Darwin Nunes up front, so it didn't really materialize as much. So now, hopefully, with Isak and Ekitike, it's going to be a little different.
But to
I
that
want,
to that
hmm.
point, sorry, to that point, Abhishek. I mean, it's a great problem to have, right? You said Ekitike started really well, and Isak hasn't really yet integrated into the team. Do you think slot changes something in the way Liverpool are set up to integrate Isak and risk upsetting kind of like a good balance that he has in his front three right now?
I don't think so, because we see rotation is always good. As I've said before as well, right? We lost three attackers this year, right? And we've got two. So it's good. Ekitike, the way he's playing at the moment, he's definitely a centre forward. He needs to play in that front three in the center. However, I think there are I think he can also play a little bit on the left. Like Gakpo is the only left winger we have at the moment. Who is there? Who is the backup? No one. KSA is the only other
True.
option, but KSA doesn't start as many games. So I think we'll get to a point where Ekitike and Isak might start together, where Ekitike might start, on the left hand side or something like that. So I think it's good. It's that's what it's going to eventually become. I don't see that as an issue at all. I think Ekitike will get a lot of games, especially the way he started. He'll get a lot of games, and it's a good thing to have two different types of strikers because you can have two different ways of playing, right? When we used to play under Klopp, in the two of our main, we used to have those two machines who were giving assists all the time, Trent and Robertson, who are the two highest in the league as well, and they would always get. So that's the kind of uh, it kind of feeds in a player like Isa. It's good, and AKTK is a little bit different in that sense. So it's good to have both of them. I don't see it as a problem. I still think that it's three players in two positions. It's fine.
So before we close this off, I just read this uh, weird headline on this website. So as we know, Ballon d'Or ceremony was last night. Osman Dembele won it. Lamine Yamal was second. Vitinha third. Mo Salah was fourth. And what I read this was because of these weirdos on the internet. Barcelona fans upset as Real Madrid player ranked above. So I first I did not understand what this was about. Well, Lamine Yamal was second, so I did not get that. Then I saw Kylian Mbappe is seventh, and you also have Rafinha on the fifth position. So I did not understand what the first was about. They are basically upset that Vinicius Junior is 16th and 17th is Robert Lewandowski. What what the fuck is going on? I just don't get this. First of all, I don't give a shit about an individual. What should be very very honest. But what are these weirdos on the internet? What the fuck is
I mean,
this?
if there's anybody who's going to whine about individual awards, it's going to be A, Barcelona fans, and then B, it's going to be Madrid fans. So those two are anyways Barca fans. If Leo Messi doesn't win, I don't know, philanthropist of the year, I don't know what, weatherman of the year, or chief road engineer of the year somewhere, they'll still find ways to bring it up and just talk about how he's got to do everything by himself and the whole world is against him and all that nonsense. So I'm not surprised Madrid and Barca fans are at it. Probably the two most brain dead fan bases we have, especially Barca.
Okay, so this news is from a website called Everything Barca, and let me read this out. The announcement of 2025 Ballon d'Or rankings was supposed to be a moment of celebration. But for Barcelona fans, one ranking has certainly ruffled a few feathers among the Catalan fan base. What the fuck? A wave of disappointment and disbelief has swept across social media. Wave of disappointment and disbelief. What the fuck is going on? Centered on one baffling decision that has ignited a defeat between a debate between the two rival fans. Oh my god.
God.
Oh God. And I just kept reading because I did not know what the fuck was this about. The official list release, too much anticipation has left many questioning the entire selection process.
We questioned the entire selection process when Messi won the Ballon d'Or last time without doing anything. So let's not even go into questioning Ballon d'Or.
Or when he won the Ballon d'Or above Virgil van Dijk, that is the day I stopped caring about individual awards.
Virgil van Dijk.
Oh yeah, in 2018-19.
Was that the last time he won? No, he won one after that where he was just
No, no,
gifted
he
a
did.
Ballon d'Or for no reason.
2018-19 is when Van Dijk, when Liverpool won the Champions League with Van Dijk, right? Right, he won the FIFA Player of the
But
Year
no,
and all
I
of
didn't mean
those.
that.
Just hold on. Let me check Messi stat from 1819.
No, actually, let me check when Messi last won the Ballon d'Or. I think he won it for some bullshit reason. I don't remember.
Messi won the Ballon d'Or after winning the World Cup, but in 1819, Messi had 51 goals in 50 appearances. Come on, Abhishek.
So
So he was driving Barcelona one man team at the time.
51
I
goals in
don't want
50
to.
appearances.
Yeah,
I mean, Victor Gyökeres had what 57 goals this year. Shouldn't he be winning the Ballon d'Or then?
but I'm talking about Messi playing in a much better league. So at the time, Premier League and see.
Messi won the La Liga, and that's all he won that year, right? He got 51 goals and all. where was Liverpool? Where did Liverpool with Van Dijk when we won against Barcelona at Anfield and at Camp Nou and all of that? Van Dijk was by far the best player of the year that year, right? And he was like, when you talk about impact of a footballer on a team that year, I think it was. I mean, of course, we had like about 7 or 8 players from the Liverpool team in the top 10 or so, which was
Yeah.
fine. But I thought that overall Van Dijk had a much bigger impact that year than Messi did. Messi, yeah, I know he scored like 50, 51 goals or something like that, but everyone knows what happened in the Champions League, what happened in that game against Liverpool at Anfield as well. And we went on and won the Champions League.
And Messi won the La Liga.
Yeah. So
So,
what? So I know Messi won the La Liga. So we okay. So
yeah,
we finished second that year with what 97 or something like that. We finished second on 97 points, right?
yeah.
So even in the La Liga, like it wasn't like we were bad or we were somewhere. We finished somewhere in the top five or something like that, right? We only lost one game, and that was that game against City, which basically gave them the title. So we had a really good run in the La Liga. We won the Champions League. You know, I still, I'm not even going to go into
You
this.
guys are stupid because you guys are still arguing over the wrong two Lionel Messi Ballon d'Ors. Leo Messi won the 2021 Ballon d'Or when he was playing for PSG.
Hmm.
What the fuck did he do with that year apart from winning the French League 1? I don't know. Then if that wasn't enough, he won the 2023 Ballon d'Or when he was fucking playing for Inter Miami.
Yeah, because he won the World Cup, right? So
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because he
of
was
course.
in that case, every 4 years, whoever is winning the Ballon d'Or should be the guy who's winning the World Cup.
A lot of time
Yeah,
that happens, but that
When?
used to happen. That used to
When has this
happen.
happened? Is-
Yeah, in especially in 1998, I think Zidane won after France won the World Cup, right? See, I'm not trying to defend Messi winning the Ballon d'Or in 2022, but I think he had a good shot in 18-19. That's for sure.
Oh what? 18, 19, okay. 18, 19,
Yeah,
I frankly, I don't. I mean, I don't
yeah.
think, I don't think they were going to give Van Dijk the Ballon d'Or for winning one. That's what I feel. But I'm more shocked by the 2021 thing for PSG. What
Yeah,
exactly did he do with PSG?
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Agreed to
And which is, but to I think
What do
to
you
the
mean? What did he do? He did everything. Come on. What do you mean?
that.
What did he do? He did everything by himself.
and I don't and I don't mean to be the Grinch here, but I also genuinely did not understand Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. That was dumb again because I mean he won it over ahead of Vinny and Bellingham. And the logic there was Rodri was playing for Spain. So the one good thing that he was doing for both Spain and Man City was tactical fouling, where he could easily go out and trip someone every 5 minutes without getting a card. And Liverpool fans will know that more than anybody else when Rodri used to do that in every game against Liverpool and never get a card. So some of these Ballon d'Or genuinely I don't understand. But
See, Ballon d'Or. To be honest, I really don't care about individual awards.
yeah, I
They
mean,
don't
yeah.
mean I mean they mean nothing. To be very honest. But anyway,
I
if
sorry sorry before last
yeah,
thought is that I stopped caring about the Ballon d'Or that they did not give it to Wesley Sneijder. You remember that season? I think
yeah,
when he I think he won the treble right with Inter,
yeah.
and he didn't win the what do you call it, the Ballon d'Or that season. That season I'm like screw it. I've not followed it.
I read today apparently that one of the, because it's also based on voting, right? Like journalists have to vote, and
Hmm.
apparently,
Just one point. Isn't it players as well? Players voting as well, or is it just journalists?
no, I was just saying that there was I don't know, maybe this might be another social media misinformation, but that apparently one of them did not vote for Lewandowski because his FIFA stats were not that great. Um, and if that is actually true and something to go by, then yes, these awards are like completely meaningless.
I can't believe we are arguing about Ballon d'Or. Oh my god! Like, do you guys have anything else? Because if not, we can close this. Okay. On that note, thank you everyone for watching. Uh, Bye for now, and we'll see you next week.